So for more on this, we're joined by Graeme Wilkinson from Tshikululu Social Investments. Thanks for your time. Welcome to Morning Live, Graeme.
Good morning. Thanks, and good morning to all of your viewers too.
So let's start by telling us a little bit more about the Vaccine Challenge Fund and how it actually works.
Well, the Vaccine Challenge Fund was a fund that was put together by, there have been 4 donors that have come together, facilitated by the DGMT Trust and Tshikululu. And the funding that was put together in a pot has been used to fund NGOs and community-based organizations in districts across South Africa. And the funding is really just to help enable organizations that are prepared to face this national challenge of getting South Africans vaccinated, together with the Department of Health in their district. And the whole funding is really to help enable the participation of civil society organizations who bring their own set of skills and networks to help with this national challenge, which is still with us. So it's been over a year now, and we still have quite some way to go. In fact, looking at the latest statistics, we are at just under 50% of the adult population in South Africa has received at least one jab. So we're halfway there.
But it's been a struggle all the same, Graeme, as you know. But just with regards to this initiative, how much have you pulled together thus far in terms of funding, and how much of that has been distributed?
Right, yes. So we have distributed, well, of the funding that's been put together in the pot, it was just on 13 million rand that was made available by 4 donors. Those donors include the DGMT Trust and Tshikululu Trust, as well as the Discovery Fund and the Hot as Hell Manganese Empowerment Trust, which is a trust which is set up in the Northern Cape, linked to the mining that happens there around Hot as Hell. But they're also, the trustees decided to join in this effort. So the money that has been made available has already gone through rounds 1 and 2 to organizations right across the country. We've tried to cover every single district. Yes, so that was sufficient funding for a good 130 grants. So we've got enough money left for the final 10. So 120 grants have already been given over the last, we launched it in July last year. And we're now going into the last of our funding rounds, and this is for round 3.
And I asked the question about how much of that 13 million has been distributed, because we know what has happened, for example, with things like the PPE scandals. And very often there's also criticism of how much of this funding actually goes towards administrative costs. So just with regard to that, how much has, if you do know at this point, gone to things such as administration, logistics and the like?
Well, this grant was very much about enabling organizations to get involved together with the Department of Health. And most of the funding was directed specifically to enable that involvement. So it is directed for administration and specifically logistics. We weren't too sure in the first rounds 1 and 2 how much of the funding would be going towards transport, for example, but we knew that in some areas, I mentioned the Northern Cape, but even in some of the more urban settings, people are quite far removed from their nearest vaccination site. And so some NGOs have procured taxis and buses to help get people to vaccination sites so that they can get vaccinated. So it has been quite a mixture of things that, yes, I think people might be a bit concerned that is it going towards what's needed. Our sense is that it has definitely gone to where the need is, and the need has been around facilitation, logistics, and also there have been many NGOs that have spent quite a bit of money on stipends for community members to go door to door and to have real conversations. The real conversation is free, but to get the person there to have that real conversation does require, logistics and things like stipends. So we've been comfortable with that sort of expenditure because it is helping to get the message to the people who need it most, and to bring real conversations to people. We're finding that is what's really making a difference.
So, Graeme, with regard to the qualifying criteria to apply for funding, can you talk to us about that, and also whether there is any significant overlap that you may have picked up on with other entities or government agencies doing similar work?
Well, the real aim of the Vaccine Challenge Fund is to enable participation and collaboration. So purposefully trying to crowd resources together. So if there has been overlap, then that's been by design. We really are wanting this to be about collaboration and coordination. The Department of Health brings the vaccines. We've got enough vaccines in South Africa for everyone to be vaccinated. And the Department of Health comes with the resources to make sure that the cold chain is protected and the vaccines are safe, etc. And they've got the staff to administer the vaccines. There are so many other areas where people, civil society, business, and community members could be playing to help make sure that it's possible for every adult in South Africa to get their vaccine. And oftentimes that does include collaborating with transport providers, with other government departments to make things happen, and to ensure that if someone comes to a vaccine site that they aren't in a very long queue and then turn away, or making sure that sometimes it's getting vaccine sites, mobile sites, to come to communities that are quite removed, and lots of coordination and collaboration required there.
So, Graeme?
So the focus for the qualifying criterion for this third round, we are looking for NGOs who have got, or community-based organizations who've got proven ability to mobilize people and experience in working with the public sector. As I've just mentioned, it's very much around coordination and collaboration and mobilizing people. There are other criteria. We need to know that the organization has the capacity to administer funds. It isn't a particularly large grant. The maximum amount is 100,000 Rand, which should keep them going for 4 to 5 months. So we need to know that the organization has the capacity to receive funding and to monitor and report on it. And where possible, we are preferring the organizations that are duly registered and comply with the regulations around public benefit work, as well as working in the not-profit space. We are also, with round 3, targeting 10 specific sub-districts. Given the amount of funding we have left in the pot, we've had to prioritize the districts with the largest unvaccinated populations. And so there are 10 sub-districts. That's the final qualifying criteria, is that you'd need to be working in one of these 10 sub-districts. They are largely the districts that are in metropolitan areas and the high density, population density areas. So we are looking for organizations in especially eThekwini. Of course, it's a community that is faced with so many challenges. COVID is still there. It's still one of the many challenges that they're facing. So we are looking for organizations working in eThekwini to put their hand up and step up to this vaccine challenge. But also in the Johannesburg Region D, it's around the greater Soweto, Dobsonville area. And at the moment, we've got very few applications coming in so far from Cape Town. The region, the Eastern District, a sub-district of the Cape Town metropolitan municipal area, so from Delft, Eersterivier, going all the way through to Somerset West and Gordons Bay. We are looking for organizations that work in that area to also put their hands up.
All right. And just 30 seconds we have left, Graeme. Where do people go? Where do the NGOs go? And what is the closing date and time? Today, I believe at 5?
That's correct. Close of business today is the closing date for this round 3 round of applications. And please do point your internet browser to Tshikululu's website, tshikululu.org.za. That's TSHIKULULU.org.za. And you can see under the Apply for Funding tab, you'll find the link to apply for this funding and all the information you need to know about what you need to apply and which 10 sub-districts we're looking at. Alternatively, you can also be in touch with the DG Murray Trust. They're based in Cape Town. You can also check their website, dgmt.co.za.
Well, thanks so much, Graeme Wilkinson from Tshikululu Social Investments. You have until 5 p.m., close of business today, to get onto the website. And as he said, 10 sub-districts being targeted, especially in built-up areas, urban areas, where there seems to still be, issues with the take-up of vaccines and high density.